sites as well as the viral envelope spike. Basically, the viruses, whenever entered into the living systems, it requires a receptor site. So, host and pathogen interaction is a vital process. Without interactions, virus or without the receptor sites, virus cannot enter into the living systems. So basically, there are so many receptor sites in the animal cells, and viruses are entered into the living systems. Next, you can see whenever the virus entered in the two types of systems. One is the engulfment in the left side figure. Total virus particles are engulfed by the membrane of the host cell or membrane of the animal or human cell. In another way, it can fuse its membrane with the animal cells and eject the genetic material into the host cytoplasms. So now that genetic material, which is the only part of the virus entered into the cells, that starts replicating. Next. Then I had already discussed about the positive strand RNA, negative strand RNA, double stranded, and retroviral RNA. You can see the upper part. As the COVID-19 or the coronavirus also a positive strands RNA, as soon as it entered into the cells, it directly synthesizing the proteins. And a complementary replication systems or strands are synthesized from the positive to negative, and by targeting the negative strands, then genome of the viruses start replicating. Next. There are so many dangers or damage to the host cell as soon as virus infect, and we call it as a cytopathic effect. What that means? It changes the gross change in the shape and size of the host cells, development of intracellular changes, and two things are occurring. One is the inclusion bodies, another is the syncytia. So inclusion bodies means the compacted mass of viruses or the damaged cell organelle in the nucleus and cytoplasm of the host, as well as syncytia means fusion of multiple host cells into single large cells containing a multiple nuclei. So if these inclusion bodies and syncytia when formed, it creates the more damage to the lungs or the host cells in case of COVID-19. Next. After infections, there are so many causes like persistent infections also takes place in the host cells, and viruses and cancer, the relationships like that. It has been estimated that 20% of cancers are caused by the viruses, and some viruses carry genes that direct the cause of cancers. In other cases, the other viruses produce the proteins that includes a loss of growth regulators and leading to a cancer also. Next. Then here we want to describe one thing, that is the lysogeny or danger of lysogeny in human diseases. That already I told, if the viral infection takes place, the secondary infection of the bacteria takes place. So in bacteria contains many genes from the viruses. So when we apply to control the supporting infections which caused by the bacteria by applying antibiotics, but antibiotics sometimes don't work. The reason is that the virus also contains the bacteria also contains the viral genomes. So viral genome synthesizing the viral proteins or toxins. So it is difficult to also control the bacterial infections. Next. Besides viruses, the protein are also causing the disease, like the spongiform encephalitis, where brain can shrinkage takes place. So that proteins or a infectious molecules is called as a prions. That also prevailing in the environments where the brain became a sponge-like structures or more spongiform takes place, and ultimately shrinking takes place and deterioration of memories are going on, and this disease also occurring in the environment. Next. Next. And in addition to the infectious proteins or prions, viroid is another molecule. These viroids only infect the plants, and it is very small than also viruses. So you can say that it is about one-tenth the size of an average virus and composed of naked strands of RNA lacking a capsid or any other type of proteins. And it's significant pathogens in economically important plants like tomato, potatoes, cucumbers, and citrus trees like that. Next, viruses in human health. Viruses causes the common or acute infections like cold, hepatitis, chickenpox, and like on. Prominent viral infections of the worldwide, like starting from the dengue to the yellow fever, and infections with the high mortality rates like AIDS and Ebola, and also the infections that cause long-term disability and connection to the chronic infections also going on. Next, treatment with the viral infections. Just you see the antibiotics designed to treat the bacterial infection have no effect on viruses, and most animals drugs block the viral replications by targeting the functions of the host cells, but with severe side effects. The Draco or the double-stranded RNA activated caspase oligomizer is one antiviral molecule. It can treat the viral infections and causes the or it can destroy the virus particles. So we have to depend upon some limited antiviral molecules as well as the vaccines, but vaccines also in a limited state. Next. Now, why? The RNA viruses are more dangerous because the RNA viruses generally have very high mutation rates compared to the DNA viruses because viral RNA lacks the polymerase or having the polymerase that lack the proofreading ability. And this is one reason why it is difficult to make the vaccines or effective vaccines to prevent the disease caused by the RNA viruses. Next. The identifications of viruses depend upon the cytopathic effects like the serological tests, then nucleic acids, RT-PCR or PCR, as well as the biophotonics, the recently developed methods that by which we can identify the viruses. Next. Now there are respiratory tract flora or normal respiratory tract flora because the coronavirus also a respiratory infections. Besides viruses, the bacteria like Staphylococcus, Corynebacterium, Moraxella, and Haemophilia, and bacteroids as well as Streptococcus, they are the normal respiratory flora of the human beings. So they also causing the diseases in addition to the coronavirus or any viral outbreak or viral diseases. Next. Just you see, the three things are occurring. One is laryngitis, tonsillitis, as well as sinusitis. These are caused by the bacteria and viruses both. And the infections may be caused by several bacteria and viruses, and sometimes often combinations. And most respiratory tract infections are self-limiting. But whenever lower respiratory tract became infected, like the COVID-19, so it seizes the alveolar functions. Next. The strep throat, another disease caused by the bacteria, or we can say that the beta hemolytic group A streptococci. It is also a droplet transmissions as like as the virus or coronavirus. Next. Pseudomembrane on tonsils. So it can lead the respiratory blockage. That respiratory blockage or the shortness of breath sometimes also by the pseudomembrane formations on the tonsil. Next. Otistis media, and we can say otistis media also caused by the bacteria like the Streptococcus pneumoniae, Haemophilus influenza, and like on. But these type of diseases are curable, and it is nothing but a complications of nose and throat infections. Pus accumulation takes place in the eardrum and causing the disease. Next. Then we are discussing about the common cold. Here, about 200 different viruses can cause the common cold, and more than 50% are goes to the credit to rhinoviruses, and only 15 to 20% caused by the coronavirus. So we are now more bothered about the coronavirus, more conscious about the coronavirus, but it is related to 15 to 20% of common cold, but 50% common cold are caused by the rhinoviruses. So more danger viruses also prevailing in the environment. So we have to take care about the environment. Otherwise, there's so many viral infections also going on. Next. You can see the structure of the lower respiratory tract and the alveolar structures. This alveoli became choked, and it also sometimes caused by the bronchitis, bronchiolitis, and pneumonia, and ultimately patient can also be dead. Next. Here is the structure of the lungs, and these are the granulomas from the Mycobacterium tuberculosis. You can imagine how the lungs became damaged by these bacterial infections. And when we consider the COVID-19 or coronavirus, the damage is also much more. So this damage, in addition to viral damage, and the lungs became, ultimately it goes to the destructions. Next. Then already I have discussed about the influenza. That influenza virus is a single-stranded RNA, and it having the 8 segments. And this outbreak was takes place in 1980, or we can call it as Spanish flu. Next. In that case, there was a mutations in the H and N leads to the antigenic shifts and antigenic drift. This H means hemagglutinin spike proteins, and in N means neuraminidase spike proteins. And due to alterations of their structures, so there was a outbreak in 1980. So new viral infections come into the place. Next. Now, please go to the second slide, please. This is SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19 pandemic situation in the world. So kindly go to the second presentation. This COVID-19 or coronavirus infections started in Wuhan, and it is called as a novel coronavirus. Why it is called as a novel coronavirus? Because the genome became evolving or mutating in every moment. So this virus, it is nothing new. Already I told nothing new to the microbiologist or medical personally, because in 1930s it was first reported in chicken. After in 1960s, it was reported in humans. And whenever it reported in humans in 1960s, the name was the human coronavirus. Next, human coronavirus. And now it is again evolving, and a new strain is infecting to the humans. And the COVID-19 is the infectious disease caused by the most recently discovered coronavirus. And this new virus and disease were unknown before the outbreak began in Wuhan, China in December 2019. Next. Hello, next. This coronavirus belongs to the genus beta coronavirus. Basically, there are 4 genus like alpha coronavirus, beta coronavirus, gamma coronavirus, and delta coronavirus. Next. And already I told the 1930s of chicken as well as coronavirus in human in 1960s. If you see the structure of the viruses, the electron microscopic structures, it is a pleomorphic structures and spherical, large, enveloped with a diameter of 80 to 160 nanometers. And one thing is very important, just to see in the picture, it combined with a Y-shaped receptor molecules as shown in the picture, and this receptor molecule present in the host cells, and that receptor molecule is called the angiotensin converting enzyme or SE2. And just The AC2 means if we try to invite a guest and we are going to receive the guest with a flower bouquet in front of our front gate. So human cells also having these receptor sites. So we compare with the flower bouquet and we are inviting the coronavirus to come into our body systems. Next. The genome of the coronaviruses is a RNA genome or positive strand RNA genome and a nucleotide up to 30,000 bases. And here is the two figure. One is the coronavirus or SARS-CoV-2 in the left side, and how they are evolving, they are changing from their genetic material, and new virus particles are emerging in the environment. So these type of mutations are always going on in the viruses. So they are certainly unstable molecules, but creating different diseases. Next. Here I am showing the three pictures. One in the left side is the RNA dependent RNA polymerase and 3CL Pro as well as the PL Pro or papain-like protease. These three molecules, three proteins, they are actually playing the role in case of infections and ultimately to the death. Next. As soon as this coronavirus entered, you can see there is an anger, there is an invagination. So bacteria, the total virus entered into the cells by ejecting or incorporating the plus-strand RNA molecules. So whenever or at a certain time when the viral genetic material entered into the host cell or the human cell, then it starts replicating. Or as there is a positive strand RNA virus, protein synthesis simultaneously started. So if protein synthesis simultaneously started, then infection rate also high, then it synthesizes the replicates and translation of viral polyprotein takes place. And finally, it a complex formation takes place. We called it as a replication transcription complex. Then the subgenomic molecules, which is required for the completions of the viral structures, like the surface proteins as well as envelope proteins, spike proteins, nucleocapsids, all are synthesizing and they are traveled through the host machinery as well as the endoplasmic reticulum of the host. Now you can see the coronavirus genome starts reforming inside the host cells and finally is released to the exterior by exocytosis. So this process is continuously going on and every fraction of seconds that processes are repeating. So when one coronavirus or any virus particle entered into the host cells, it ejecting in a huge amount of cells. And as soon as they eject, they again infect the new cells and it destroy the lung as well as intestinal cells of the humans. Next. Thus, the pathogenesis. There are the three phases, like in the phase 1, infection of the epithelial cells. The two things are occurring. One is lung infections, another one is the intestinal infections. So in COVID-19, two things are simultaneously occurring. And everywhere the receptor cells like ACE2 are present. Then in phase 2, the acute inflammation takes place. So in immunology or immunological reactions, whenever any molecules outside from the living host or human beings are entered into the living system try to combat, try to destroy the foreign molecule by releasing the immunological molecules or reactive molecules. So this is called the immunocell activations. After immunocell activation, there will be a race. What is this race? If the antiviral immunity or suppressions of the hyperinflammation takes place, then viral infection can stop. But in another way, if the host cell unable to stop the infections, then what happens? Cytokine storms takes place. So what is cytokine storm? Cytokine storms means the release molecules or the immunostimulating molecules, they combine with the virus particles, they forms a a cytokine storm syndromes or neutrophilia or monocytopenia or lymphopenia. So whenever these systems are occurring, then we call it a severe infections or the patient's health conditions become deteriorating. Next. There are three stages of the infections. One is mild, one is severe, and one is the critical. So whenever critical infection takes place, an outsized immune response to the viral infections and it leads to the sepsis and a dangerous drop in the blood pressures and a condition known as the septic shock. And ultimately, shortage of oxygen, inflammation takes place, and finally, the patient goes to the death. Next. Next. There are symptoms of the COVID-19. It is well known to everyone. Fever, coughing, shortness of breath, trouble of breathing, chills, body ache, headache, and sore throats. And the loss of smell and taste also occurring in case of human beings. Nausea, diarrhea, and one additional symptom is bluish lips or face. Next. The virus is also causing the pneumonia and so on. According to some research, the 99% cases the fever also occurring and 70% cases fatigue as well as cough in 59% cases, then body ache 35% cases and shortness of breath 31 and mucus related problems in 27% cases. Next. The face, arm, speech also be considered. And how do I know if it's COVID-19, a cold or the flu? In the tabular forms, I am representing a comparative account of cold, flu, allergy, and COVID-19. So it is very difficult to judge whether it is a viral infection or COVID-19 or anything. So just you consult with the doctors and try to think you have a fever and a cough and you live in an area where virus outbreak takes place or you visited a countries or places where virus outbreak can take place. Next. There are the risk factors. Everyone can become infected, but the persons having high blood pressures, heart disease, lung disease, asthma, kidney disease that needs dialysis, obesity, diabetes, or those who are cancer patients or immunologically or immunologically depressed patients, their chances of infections are high. Next, the children's also infected, and it is called the MIS-C and or multi-system infections takes place in case of children. Then if we think about the transmissions, SARS-CoV-2 mainly spread from person to persons. And in the object, wherever the longevity of virus particles, in copper it is around 4 hours, in cardboard around 24 hours, and in plastics and stainless steel about 2 to 3 hours. Next. So it is very important to disinfect the every area of the environment or starting from the household object to other things. Then one thing is community spread. That what that mean? The community spread. The community spread means when we don't know whether the source of infections, it is coming from a infected people or it is coming from a severely infected people already having a travel history or not. If their source of infections are unknown, then we certainly believe that the infection coming from the environment or a community. So it is a community spread, we call it a community spread, where more than hundreds or crores of people become infected, the chance of infection is high. Next. And in USA, that also reported one COVID-19 infection or community infection in 2020. Next. Next. Around 8.32 million confirmed cases worldwide, and But we have a good news. The recovery rate is high, but still changing infections. So we have to seriously taking into consideration of the COVID-19. Next, physical interventions like the isolation, quarantines, good personal hygiene, like on. And the Maharashtra data is confirmed cases is 1,13,445 and death is 5,537 and your rate is high. Still, death we have to most seriously deal with the non-pharmaceutical interventions as well as no antiviral molecules directly acting against the COVID-19. Next, 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 next. Okay. Next, there are so many companies as well as the organizations are working on COVID-19 or development of vaccines, either genetical vaccines or, but whatever the vaccines, we have to think about the the safety of the vaccines. That is important. Why? To launch a vaccine is time taking. Because when we launch a vaccine for any part of the virus, it may be the entering the dead part or the any part of the virus to the cell, sometimes it creates the adverse effect. So for safety purpose, it is required a long time for the testing of the vaccines. Then the diagnosis your throat and aspirate fluid from your lower respiratory tract and saliva and stool and everywhere because it is also infecting the intestine. So stool sample can also be tested. Next. The RT-PCR is the main functioning for testing the virus. Next. Then asymptomatic persons became more danger in the society because we don't know, there is no systems in case of these patients, but they are spreading the disease. Next. The vaccines which are in the front lines, like the BCG or as well as the infected or inactive mRNA vaccines, they are in the front line. Next, in case of RNA vaccines, the RNA are most unstable, so it can degrade. So for safety or as well as integrity of the RNA vaccine, it became questionable. So in case of treatment, there are antiviral molecules and immunosuppressive molecules we are applying with the convalescent plasma also we are applying. But whenever we are applying the plasma is coming from an infected persons. So though that plasma having the ability to treat or combat the coronavirus infections, but in addition to that, so many other molecules, toxic molecules also present in the plasma that have to be segregated. And again, it is a time-taking process also. Next. The tocilizumab 1 molecule that can also the anti-immunosuppressive molecules and recovery rate for the coronaviruses. There is the scientists and researchers are constantly tracking the COVID infections recovery, but they don't have the information about the outcome of every infections because just you see every infection is a different one. Why? Every infection is a different one because virus also changing their pattern of infections as well as when immunity or immune system of the human beings are trying to combat or to destroy the virus, they also secreting the new molecules. So every one system is a different one, and current recovery rate is 89% in the worldwide, and whereas in India it is 87%. Then one question is, can you get the coronavirus twice? It is also difficult to say due to this instability in the genome as well as the infections. Next. Next. Perhaps that was the last slide. And before going to conclude, I want to thank my heartfelt thanks to the Honorable Principal and organizing committee for inviting me, especially from DP Patil. And I have a request to everyone, if possible, try to maintain a diary to record the three things. What are the environmental changes are going on in your immediate environment and your food habit as well as the body conditions. When these three things you want to regulate, finally you can win in every battle. If not, it is very difficult. Thank you all. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Okay. Good afternoon to one and all. Now I would like to introduce you with Dr. R.K. Narkhede. Presently, he is working as an assistant professor in environmental science. He has completed his MSc and PhD in Swami Ramananda Tirth Marathwada University, Nanded. Sir has published near about 24 research papers in various national and international journals. He has participated in various conferences, and under his able guidance, 2 students are working for pursuing PhD. Now, I would like to request Honorable R.K. Narkhede, sir, to proceed. Over to Dr. R.K. Narkhede.
Thank you, sir. Presentation. Load तर करावं. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you very much, sir, for such a nice introduction. Respected Principal, Dr. J.B. Anjane, sir, Dr. Bhole, sir, D.V. Patil, sir, and all technical and non-technical staff. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to have a presentation in such a nice webinar. Our friend has given a very good presentation about the virus corona, how it is going on in micro level. Sir, today we are facing a very serious problem, and that problem is the COVID-19. All the people, those who are present on the earth, they are restricted in their houses. See, a single virus which has got a very, very minute particle or very minute living material has restricted all 6.5 billion human beings. If we look towards the picture of this corona, it looks like very good, like a crown. And today it is on the crown of, as a crown of earth for disease and deaths. So we have to think why this happens, how this happens, who is behind this, any natural activity or any anthropogenic activity or elsewhere. That's why I have taken this topic as the biodiversity and COVID-19. See, when word biodiversity has been herd, we come to know that there is diversity in life which is present on the earth. COVID is also one of the part of this diversity. Yet it has not been present, but it has shown its present. I relate this particular biodiversity with the number and their abundance in the particular area. Initially, if we see, what do you mean by a virus? Now, virus is made up of a core of genetic material, either a DNA, deoxyribose nucleic acid, or ribose nucleic acid. As corona is a RNA virus, it is having a capacity, very danger, to have a pathogenic capacity. Now, this DNA or RNA is surrounded by a protective coat called a capsid, which is made up of protein. Now we know that our body is also having protein building blocks, carbohydrates, fats. All these things, they are coming through the environment, maybe from air, maybe from soil, maybe from water. They are the assemblages. Now, if we talk about origin of coronavirus, in that within a few months, that 4 to 5 months, since it first emerged in Wuhan, China, the SARS-CoV-2 virus, which causes the disease COVID-19. COVID is a short form, that is corona virus disease having outbreak in 2019. World Health Organization has made the short form from corona CO, from virus VI, and from disease D, COVID-19. Now, till the time, this has infected more than 84 lakh 6,068 people and caused 4,51,387 deaths. Although the exact origin of COVID virus is still unknown. Now, the first case or few cases of COVID-19 have been traced back to a wet market that contained wild animals sold for food or medicines. Such markets can be ideal environments for zoonotic spread, as the unusual mixing of animals, which is not common in the wild, can provide opportunities for viruses to jump between species and potentially then to peoples. Means, in another way, human being is responsible to have this COVID-19 in our population. See, coronavirus is a zoonotic infection, meaning, what does it mean? Zoonotic infection means that spreads from animals to humans. The current thinking is that this coronavirus went from bats to humans via an intermediary animals. Last line we have seen that the wild animals have been sold for food and medicine. So the animals have been kept in cages, and the assemblage of animals can shift the virus of animals from one to another one. And when the animals has been taken for food, that has been transferred to human being. The zoonotic infection and human health, they have always been a risk to human health, as people continuously interact with animals through farming, hunting, domestication of animals, or sharing their habitats in such a case that malaria, which is a spread human to human via mosquitoes. Some people have pet animals in their houses. They can also have infection, and from them they can transfer to human beings. Now, the case of malaria, which spread from human to human via mosquitoes. See, from 1930, we are coming to know that the coronavirus is there, and from 1940 onwards, there are detection of 300 emerging infectious diseases have been identified. Around 60% of emerging infection diseases can be traced back to the human interactions with the animals. The other two coronaviruses that have recently threatened human health, that is SARS and MERS-CoV, COVID, as well as Ebola in Congo, have also been found in bats. Now, animals are having some different physiological conditions and immune system, but bats has often harbor viruses that can jump from bats to humans. Because of their physiology and immune systems, it may create some ideal environments for viruses to flourish in the organisms. Many endemic zoonotic diseases can be quite prevalent because they are transferring from animal to human all over the world as per the geographical conditions. If we take some measures to control them, such as livestock management, proper sanitation, controlling the spread of animals that spread disease, such as mosquitoes, can mitigate their impact on humans. Along with mosquitoes, some other animals have also been implicated in the emergence of zoonotic diseases. For example, pigs. They can serve as a mixing vessels for influenza virus from different species to come together, swap genes and emerge as novel infections. This is what likely occurred with the H1N1 swine flu pandemic in 2009. Other mammals like primates and camels can also be the intermediaries between animal reservoirs and humans. As we are going to have interactions with the animals, also we have to take care that they should not transfer any such type of organism towards us. We have to take care about that. Now, these emerging zoonotic infections are always a particular threat because no natural immunity exists among people and there are no standard control measures. But when a zoonotic infection no longer needs an animals to directly infect humans, can instead sustain transmission from one human to another. And this is the dangerous situation which happens with the COVID-19. It poses an even greater threat combined with the right factors of how contagious the disease is, how many people it can kill, and how well it can spread before it is detected. We can see the makings of pandemic. The COVID-19 and environmental footprints. See, the risk of emerging infectious diseases such as COVID-19 from animals is on the rise in large part because of our environmental footprint and the blurring between the natural and the built environments. because we are making a wall between natural environment and the artificial environment. We are encroaching to the habitats of the organisms. Increasingly, humans, livestock, and wildlife are interacting in new and unexpected ways because there is no natural interaction. Human being is trying to overcome the nature along with all the life system. That's why the interaction has become somewhat unexpected, bringing new species and their resident infections. Suppose any organism living inside the core of your forest, and if it has been brought toward the society, and that animal has got some sort of infection that may transfer to the human settlements, and there is a serious problem like today which we are facing. Together, these their resident infections which can have together the unpredictable results. We can't predict the results which have been brought by that particular organism. Now, climate change is one of the culprit for this, and all over the world there is thinking on this phenomenon. Climate change is accelerating the loss of animal habitats because temperature change, humidity change, cold regions, they are changing their characteristics. And these characteristics, when changed, animal thinks that season is going to move and they move from one area to another area. This leads to the attack of them by the predators and they become prey. Likewise, there may be a danger to their life. One thing. And the ways human change the land, because we are trying to have more and more land for the human beings living, for industrialization, for urbanization, for agricultural purposes, cutting down old growth and rainforest, then which harbor a rich biodiversity of life. To create agricultural or pastoral land potentially bring people and livestock in closer contact with previously isolated populations of bats and other animals harboring previously unencountered disease, because we don't know what diseases are there inside them. May veterinarian know, but common man in human society, we are unaware about that. In turn, biodiversity loss threatens natural food resources, which means animals seek other sources of food found where people live. Because if they don't get food, they will try to have the food from areas where human beings are living. As we are encroaching in their areas, they are also coming to our areas. As climate change causes large disasters like floods and drought, human food sources are also lost, because in flood all agricultural fields have been going to be wiped out, and that has creating loss to us, also loss to the food materials, because the population has increasing in very rapid manner, and growing food insecurity pushes people to further encroach on animal habitats. We need food, so we move towards the forest and we capture some animals and we eat to them, increasing animal contact and contributing to the trade in wildlife. Those animals which can be eaten, we eat to them, and those can have a trade, we trade to them for the source of income. And here, human is having encroachment on the forest zone, on the habitat of the natural animals or wildlife. The speed and magnitude of environmental change has implications for future epidemics and pandemics. Now, the word which we are utilizing, what are epidemics, endemics, pandemics? Endemic is the word which has been utilized for a disease or such a disease or illness which is frequently found in a place. Suppose a slum area is there in a city, and in that slum area, season wise, some disease outbreak is coming out. The reason may be not cleanliness, people are not depositing their waste in proper manner, open dumping of solid waste, whatever it may be. That creates a condition that some disease may be outbreak. But that is only in a particular place. That type of disease or illness which has been happened is called as an endemic type of disease. Then epidemic, a widespread occurrence of an infectious disease in a community at a particular time. Means when there is change in season, change in habitat, maybe having some other problems, a total community has been affected by a disease that is known as epidemic. Pandemic, it is the infectious disease prevalent over whole country or world which we are facing today, because a very nanovirus has restricted us inside the home of almost all 6.5 billion peoples. Then peoples which are on the threat of pandemics, who are in the threat of pandemic or who may come in the threat of pandemic. The people which are having or those who are having interactions with animals and the environment. Now, normally the people who domesticate the animal as a pet animals, individual person is with that or a family is with that, interacted with that animal. But in case of traditional farmers, hunters, pastoralists are already had high risk of zoonotic infections, and they now face a double threat of environmental change. However, other livelihoods beyond the animal sector, as more and more people are pushed to seek other sources of income, such as wildlife trade or bushman hunting. This will only increase if they are not given opportunities to earn income in other ways. Thus, increasingly vulnerable people also often exist at the margins of health service provision access. They live in remote areas and are displaced because of conflict or have moved to informal urban settlements. So they missed by immunization programs and health services, and the failure of primary health care to reach these communities will mean they lack basic protection against preventable disease and maybe missed by disease surveillance networks, and in that they will not have proper vaccination like BCG and other, and will face issues in assessing care should be they be exposed to the diseases like our COVID-19. The direct damage from environmental destruction has been evident for years. We are only just now starting to get a sense of the collateral 400 years. But environment is going to have damage to human beings also, because the population is going to increase in very rapid manner and in very high level. Now, in case of COVID, if a layman asks what are the tests which are available for COVID-19, the normally two tests we do for that. One is a viral test that tells you if you have a current infection, means have you having any current infection of COVID-19 inside your body? And second one is that an antibody test tells if you would had a previous infection. Antibody is that part which is the less pathogenic part of the organism. Sometimes we have infection, we cured it, but we don't know about that. And if such happens, that we call as an, if we transfer to community, that type of is called as herd immunity. Then what steps you can take for this prevention of COVID-19? If you are at higher risk for serious illness from COVID-19 because of your age or because you have a serious long-term health problem, it is extra important for you to take actions to reduce your risk of getting sick with the disease. Stay home if possible, wash your hands often, take everyday precaution to keep space between yourself and others, keep away from people who are sick, clean and disinfect frequently, touch the services. And when you have to go for medical emergency, when you are having some trouble for breathing, persistent pain or blood or pressure in the chest, then new confusion, inability to wake or stay awake, and bluish lips or face. See, this is the image which has been given by World Health Organization. See, the image is very nice. It looks like that we can grab this one in our hand and we can watch it. But it's not the condition that we can handle this coronavirus. So, friends, this is the coronavirus. If I go to this slide, that life which has been existed more than 3.85 billion years ago, and all of you know that the life has been started from amino acids below the water. Now from amino acids to unicellular to multicellular and human beings. Maybe Earth is moving towards the same direction to become minute again. This may be the outbreak of this COVID and alarm to us. Now I will go to the last slide due to see every organism have its own environment and favorable conditions to grow, including microbes, that is the bacteria, fungi and viruses. If we try to change its characteristics, making damage to environment, definitely environment or nature will punish us. COVID-19 may be a such punishment that lasts 300 years we have disturbed nature, but in 3 months it is recovered through pollution in 3 months. This is a warning that do not disturb nature, otherwise it will disturb you. So due to time lacking, I will say thank you to those coronavirus, those who are helping us and protecting us from the corona. Thank you very much. Hello. Thank you. Hello.
Hello. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
May I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir, for your informative session. Now, I would like to introduce you with Dr. S.B. Attarde, Kavitri Bainabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon, for his valuable talk. Now, the session is over to Dr. S.B. Attarde, sir. Oh, hello, Attarde, sir.
काय अनम्यूट करा त्यांना. जयंता
Hello, Harshal.
अत्तरदे सर तिथून माईकला अनम्यूट करा ना.
Okay.
ओके
Yes,
now,
sir.
कॅन ऑडिबल सर.
Okay.
okay. Now my screen is shared.
yes yes
May I start, sir?
Okay, sir.
yes
Okay, first of all, I am very much thankful to the organizing committee of this webinar from Sardar VP Arts and Science College. I have selected simple topic for the today's webinar. COVID-19 lockdown and noise pollution is the title of my topic, and though this is a simple topic, it is having much impact on our life. Let us see. See, COVID-19 lockdown, we can view it as an unprecedented natural experiment. The COVID-19 lockdown, it could become an unprecedented natural experiment in noise pollution. So, during this period, we have observed that so many birds, even whales, animals, they get benefited from the quieter environment. There is drop in transportation during the coronavirus lockdown period, and it has substantially reduced the air pollution overall. According to World Health Organization, noise pollution affects millions of people across the world, and road traffic is one of the main reason. And this road traffic, it was reduced due to lockdown. And not only human, but other residents of this planet, like animals, birds, fishes, they get benefited from this. Let us see. So ahead of the World Environment Day, that is June 5 of this year, experts, they have outlined several environmental factors that saw environment in India as a result of the lockdown. There is improvement in air quality, noise quality, water quality, and even biodiversity. And the large improvement in air quality in India. Okay. So there was a much uh, in Delhi. They monitored air pollution and they found favorable results. See, we know that on March 24, government ordered nationwide lockdown initially for 21 days, and then it was further enhanced, and now gradually it is lifted out. And during this period, large improvement in air quality in urban areas, it was observed. So there was reduction in particulate matter, in sulfur oxides, nitrogen oxides, and other air pollutants also. So near about 50 to 60% reduction it was observed in Delhi, UP, Bihar, West Bengal, etc. And the major contributing factors of pollution, we know, these are transport vehicles, industries, burning of crop residue, waste burning. So all these activities, they were halted during this COVID-19 lockdown. And that is why there was improvement in the air quality. See, the levels of two major air pollutants, sulfur and nitrogen dioxides, they drastically reduced since lockdown period. And in India, satellite data, it has shown there was a significant drop in particulate matter or aerosol levels after COVID-19 lockdown. And there was substantial reduction in concentration of suspended particulate matter, which is one of the major component of air pollution. So this was due to reduced human activities as well as reduction in fossil fuel burning. Not only air pollution, there was also reduction in water pollution due to closure of so many industrial units. Again, one small benefit of social distancing in cities, it was found that there was quite an environment in the urban centers, and there were a reporting of bird songs. And for instance, these bird songs, they were heard somewhat louder than before. This is because birds, they lower their pitch when the environment is quieter. In noisy environment, birds, they have to enhance their pitch or sound level. Not only birds, but animals and other creatures, they also get benefited. Even wildlife, they started entering in the empty streets in the city areas, in the border areas of the cities. Due to the favorable environment, reduction in noise, air and other pollutions, higher reproductive success, it was observed in the animals, less migration and lower mortality rates, they were observed. All birds, they depend on song or their mating strategies, and they have to travel to long distance to make themselves heard if there is a noisy environment. But in quiet environment, this signaling between birds, it was very simple and useful. Even seismologists, they have reported less seismic noise or vibration on the earth crust. So this seismic noise, it is helpful to monitor seismic activity or for prediction of earthquake. Even oceans, they become tranquil. There was calmness in oceans because even cruising, it was temporarily on hold, and this decreased ocean noise. And we have seen that at the in Arabian Sea near the Mumbai coast, dolphins, they were observed for first time. So such situation, it was observed, not observed before. Even such type of lockdown we are observing for first time in our lifetime, and that is why such strange positive effects on the animals, they are observed. We know that humans, they are very badly affected by noise exposure to chronic noise pollution. Okay, there is high stress, physical ailments, disruption in sleep, hearing loss, okay, so many problems, high blood pressure, heart disease, cognitive impairment due to noise pollution. So all these problems, they are decreased due to this lockdown. Increased car honking, horns, it is very much observed in India, and as traffic decreased, all these problems, they are also decreasing. During lockdown, there has been no honking, no whir of vehicle engines, no echo of loudspeaker, and no chunking of machinery in factories. And that is why there was drastic decrease in noise pollution. Mostly empty roads and an absence of commercial events. So citizens have been waking up to the chirping of birds. While the diurnal decibel levels, they are also decreased. So for daytime, permitted sound in residential area is 55 dB, and at night time it is 45 dB. But it is even reduced up to 30 and 40 dB. So this quiet environment, it is very much useful for birds, because the chirping sound of bird, its level is near about 40 to 50 decibel, and when the surround sound is low, then we can hear chirping of birds. Otherwise, it is not possible us to hear chirping of bird in presence of uh, uh, masking sound, other sound. And due to the reduction in air and noise pollution, see, population of birds and butterflies, even butterflies also increased in India. It was observed that butterflies, they are also increasing, because butterflies, they are very delicate, and some of the air pollutants, they are deadly for these butterflies. For example, sulfur dioxide, some heavy metals which are emitted from vehicular emission, so they are harmful for these butterflies. And as the concentration of these pollutant decreased, population of butterflies, it was increased during this period. So here we have to maintain this environment by adopting green energy, by using more and more green energy, and taking the responsibility of environmental protection. Okay. So here, due to noise pollution, but it is good time for birds. Not only for birds, it is also good time for butterflies, other animals, etc. So this coronavirus lockdown, it gives birds and animals a rare break from noise pollution. Noise pollution is always there around us, but this is a rare break for these animals. See, this is a pigeon spotted during the lockdown period. So many beautiful birds, they were spotted during the lockdown period. See, rare sparrow, it was spotted during lockdown. See, this is bird, it is flying freely during the lockdown period. So birds, they stand to benefit the most from this lockdown, because in noisy world, it is very difficult for the birds to uh, transmit the signals in the form of chirping. Not only birds, but other animals, sea creatures, aquatic creatures, they are also getting benefit. COVID-19 sounds of birds replace noise pollution in Kolkata. In Kolkata, one study was carried out, and it was observed that the sound of birds replaces the noise pollution in Kolkata. So many types of bird sounds, they were recorded during the study, and many birds, new birds, they were spotted during this study. See, the bird species like yellow-footed green pigeon, purple sunbird, the coppersmith barbet, common kingfisher, woodpecker, etc. They are observed during this period. See, so number of birds in open, they have both increased, but some species of birds, they are dependent on humans for their food. For example, crows. So these crows and kites, pigeons, common mynas, they face problems for their survival during this period because they are not getting foods, food materials during this period. See, this is a yellow-footed green pigeon known as hariyal in local language, and it was spotted during lockdown and photographed by Kalyan Rudra. This is the coppersmith barbet spotted during the lockdown period, photographed by Kalyan Rudra. Not only animals, but sea creatures, they are also benefited because they are also very much get suffered from this problem of noise pollution. So frogs, shrimp, fish, mammals, mussel, snakes, they all suffer from noise pollution. And during this period, they observed, they enjoyed calmness. See, one big storm of noise, it is observed by ocean, uh, entire ocean due to marine traffic, and aquatic animals, they are also getting harm due to this. So positive effects of lockdown on environment, there are so many. The gradual repair of the ozone hole is observed during this period. Large reduction in air traffic resulted in reduction in particulate matter, greenhouse gases, etc. See, there is recovery in ozone hole. It is also hoped that people will retain some of the lifestyle changes and that will benefit to the environment. And this pandemic, it shows that if we want to survive on this planet, we must take care of our environment. So it is our necessary. So all these are the resources which were sought for this lecture. Thank you. So see, you can observe that how calmly the dog is sleeping in the uh, lockdown period, as there was no disturbance from the traffic noise or other activities, anthropogenic activities especially. So with this, I once again thank to the organizers for giving me this opportunity to interact with you. Thank you again. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you, friends, participants, and now the time for the last session, that is vote of thanks. So I privileged to express the vote of thanks. So first of all, I would like to thank on behalf I would like to thank principal for their this valuable guidance. Then our speakers, Dr. P.K. Das Mahapatra, for valuable guidance related with coronavirus and RNA and some biological features he has introduced to us. Then Dr. Narkhede sir, he has given a good speech on related with the biodiversity. And similarly, our last speaker, Dr. Attarde sir, he has also given a short but sweet speech related with the noise pollution and environment. So ultimately, I am thankful to all the participants. Then for Harshal Patil for technical support, and each and every participant. Okay, so thank you very much. The feedback link is shared with you. So the same link is shared with groups also. So please give us feedback so that we can give us our better performance in next such programs. And due to some weather problem and some technical inavailability, we got some serious technical problem in starting of 20 minutes. So I apologize for that. And on the permission of our principal and our convener, Dr. R.V. Bhode sir, I declare that this webinar is over. Okay. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.